Flight boss, bitch, for sure. Listen to the mind of an Terry Smooth, Flight boss, the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now I want to break down why do birds chirp in the morning. And it's not just birds, it's a lot of things going on in the morning, right? So this is what we really need to understand, the concept of morning, because the energy signature that's behind that goes very deep. Now morning, that shape and form plays out in a lot of ways now. You know what I'm saying? Like when the sun rises in the morning, y'all say good morning. You know what I'm saying? You got things like the morning star, Lucifer. When things die, when people die, y'all go to funerals and mourn, and things that y'all go to mourning and things of that nature. So this energy plays out in a lot of different ways. But what it's really just trying to explain to you as it's the same thing. When something dies, something is being born. So life and death, how y'all look at it is off. Y'all look at it in the wrong way. It's just transformation. That's all it is. Transformation. So as a spirit, you're no thing, no shape and form, and you create as a creator, you create a bunch of shapes and forms to go into, and it transform. Once you outlive that existence, that shape and form transforms. And then as a spirit, you should have developed enough information in that spiral to go to the next realm to do the same thing. If not, you will remain in the same realm. Now when we talk about animals, right? This is what you need to understand, because y'all know I talk to animals. Y'all know I talk to animals. So if you really understand the energy signature of how animals portray things, right, then you would know that as animals, the only reason that they would do a consonant or push out a form of vibration is the form it will be the reason if they feel threatened, or if they are hurting, or things of that nature. Otherwise, animals know how to communicate vibrational wise, non-verbally. So anytime, I know y'all probably go on Google or shit like that and hear why do birds chirp in the morning and see some shit like oh, this is how they sing, and it's a good thing because they attract the feminine, or they attract their mates to have life and things of that nature. That's not even what's actually going on. Actually, they do that in the form of needing to do that because they actually feel like they're in danger when the sun rises. So even by popular belief, all animals even perceive the light differently. So animals are not even seeing this reality the same way you see it. You know what I'm saying? And you being in the body that you are in right now, that means you developed a bunch of layers and a bunch of different bodies as a spirit. So that lets you know that you predated the animals that's here. You was already a kind of a fish. Then like you see all the fish today. You was already something like a land animal than all the other land animals you see today. So this means as spirits, that gives you an example that we were here as spirits, dying and transforming and being born again, and creating new, bigger bodies for ourselves as spirits before the species that you see today, the spirit groups that jump into forms that y'all see as animals and that y'all see as bugs and that y'all see as sea animals and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? So we did that already first because we developed more layers and more bodies and brain waves, and now we have a higher conscious level. So our conscious level is able to reason. You know what I'm saying? So anybody who's out there who's still trying to use their higher brainwave, which the ability to reason, but still try to live animalistically, you're never going to leave this dimension. You see what I'm saying? So you have to pay attention to what spirits are doing in the bodies. Now, an animal don't see you the way you see yourself. They may only see your chakras or may only see your light sources. So based upon your own alignment, if that animal don't resonate with you, then it's not going to be around you, or it's going to attack you. It's going to feel threatened. And then that's when you're going to hear a consonant, a outing of energy, uh, when you threaten a bear or like a lion, they roar at you, or a dog bark at you or something like that, because you don't resonate with their energy, so their space may feel threatened around you. Now by you having a higher consciousness, this is the reason why an animal can't train a human, but a human can train an animal. You see what I'm saying? So that also gives you an example of who came first. But so the way that you have to learn from animals, you have to learn that you was already in that space at one point in time in this realm of reality, or you wouldn't have been a spirit that had enough information to develop the body that you got today to be a human. So understanding that, right, this puts you in the vibration of clearly kind of getting the concept of what's going on when you hear the morning. The morning brings death. So this sun, this star right here brings death. And that's how the animals see it. The animals don't see that as life or how you see it. Now, you done came up with your ability to reason and came up with a bunch of dumb meanings and stupid shit like that to justify this death as life. where they're one and the same. It's this transformation. But you know, what you need to understand before you clearly understand why animals look at this as death is the smaller the form, the smaller the shape, the faster the transformation. You see what I'm saying? That's why summertime you see so many things come out of the ground, like the worms, the trees grow and things of that nature. This ain't nothing but life grasping to sustain itself through this astral travel of death at the moment. You know what I'm saying? When this close ass light come. But you need forms of transformation in order to develop new things. This is why, especially in the summertime, but it happens on a small degree every day, as far as the morning. You know what I'm saying? Every morning. But for the most part, this is where you get the bigger flies coming, the worms coming out of the ground. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of birds fucking and shit like that. A bunch of animals hibernating and shit like that because they're trying to escape from the sun. And you as a human and came up with a bunch of dumbass shit to think that the my bad, damn, what the fuck? I made a mistake and do that shit. But for the most part, yeah, your dumb ass think that you didn't came, that it brings life, that this is life in some way, shape, and form. And it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's really death. It brings death. It brings transformation. This is why you see a lot of bugs come out, a lot of things come out, because see, animals and things and bugs, what they understand, they're trying to hurry up and multiply because they know that the elder is getting ready to die. You know, like I said, remember, the smaller the shape, the smaller the form, the faster the transformation. Now look at the shape and form you in the shape and form of a human. So the transformation is playing out on a larger scale, on a much smaller, lower vibrational scale. So you know, when summertime, when you look at your blood cells, or when you look at the things that's within you, or the small things that's in you, that's going through rapid transformation fast. This is why it's not good to have your hair in the sun all the time. You know what I'm saying? Or have your because it would create that type of death looking energy. That death come in a lot of different ways. It comes in smells, it comes in looks, it comes in characteristics, it comes to a lot of it comes into concepts, ideas, to the point that y'all think that is life. And y'all scared to let where life don't have anything to do with the shape and form that y'all actually see. You know what I'm saying? Life is more correlated to the spirit. Like I said, this, but you can't even really say that, because I think what's getting people confused is these words in general. Because I can say all day that, you know, the electricity in something is the only reason that the TV gonna work. So I could correlate that with the spirit, but all of that is a mimic. So I don't even want to dive into that and say that the spirit is life and everything that y'all live in is death, and like the sun is bringing death, because that's even a misconception. So I think one of the first problems, even on that, is our concepts of looking at life and death, when in general is this transformation. And transformation is related to the physical realm. All things from non-physical to physical, the yang realm, the conscious realm, things that's created from the light, the creation, not the creator. So you know, life and death that's this transformation, transition, transpire, expire, and then something else being transformed into that. So that's the conscious realm, but that ain't the subconscious realm. That ain't the yin realm. That ain't where your soul is at. That ain't that kind of light body, and then it ain't your overall spirit, which is your unconscious, is your frequency. You know what I'm saying? And bouncing back and forth between that, for you could be an individual, which is a soul, and have your spirit vibrate, and understand the individual travel that you are going in, as all of us as spirit groups. So you know, animals, they like more controlled by oversoul, so they understand that this transformation and life-giving process, because they understand if they hurry up and multiply, when the old who created that new shape and form, them as spirits still can be here in this existence through through the children that they just have. So this is when you see beehives, flies, all the animals and shit like that, and all the birds and shit like that in the summertime, or just the morning in general. That's, they're in pain. That's why they're hollering. They're in pain. And what's going on here is they're just developed their that pain and that kind of energy is how they signify, or is the signal for them to multiply, so that they can have a grouping of life still here that they can come back in, and things of that nature. So that's how they look at it, at animals and shit. So the morning, it brings death. This is why all animals really shy away from the daytime. All animals. birds stay in trees and things of that nature. See, the lighter the animals, though, you just could see them holler and howl and shit like that based upon the animal. But some animals go completely nocturnal, like bats, raccoons, possums, owls. You got animals that completely stay away from the sunlight, and they only come out at nighttime. Now, you being an animal in a body that developed a brain to be able to reason, because you as a spirit then took all these bodies before, so you have developed enough information to create this body. You have more sustaining in this light. But don't get lost into thinking that the light is good or the light helps. The light is transforming you. The light is more related to what y'all think is death. Even though, don't get lost in y'all concepts of life and death. But if we was to say that, this light is more related to that to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So it brings death. Your organs and all kind of shit is transforming. Now, y'all concept of getting into life and death will confuse y'all when I say what I'm getting ready to say. There's a lot of positive attributes into death.